Ever wonder why we relate and connect to stories around us?
Welcome to the DNA Podcast, a show where we discuss books, movies, and entertainment that help us understand who we really are.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Annabella.
Let's dive into our DNA. Guess who's back? Back again.
You guys can't see me, but I'm doing the worm.
She's doing the worm.
I'm doing the worm
with her hands. Love it. Welcome. Today, it's technically August, but we're going to talk about July and all the crazy, wonderful things that happened in July.
So many things.
So many things. So many wonderful things. So welcome to another fun bonus episode of the DNA Podcast. Thank you guys for continuing to, I guess, listen to us. I mean, the numbers,
can't watch us.
The numbers say you are, and then you can't watch us. So I assume you are.
You are listening.
You are, in fact, listening. Although we did some fun little polls on our Instagram. One of which was if you like to listen or watch podcasts, and we will dive into that later. But I was pleasantly surprised with the outcome of that. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting. So, yeah, if you have not listened to any of, this is only our second one, so like if you haven't listened to the first bonus episode, which was a May-June wrap-up, we just figured it would be kind of fun to do a quick little bonus episode just to talk about some things that, didn't make it into the episodes of whatever month topic we're talking about. And also just to have some different content that isn't so serious and just to talk about whatever is on our mind based off of what we've been podcasting about. So
we try not to chew your ears off, so we try to keep an episode to like an hour-ish. And there's definitely some books and topics and things that we've watched, read, whatever. We can't fit it all in an hour. And so that's what this episode's for.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to fill in some gaps. I know I have some questions I know I didn't ask.
Oh, God. Are they about love? I wonder.
No, it's fine.
They're
I
not.
know. I have to grow up one day.
Oh, my God. No, don't change. I love who you are.
You stay a hopeless romantic forever.
Yeah, that's what I love about you.
I live in a fairy tale when it comes to love and romance. It's fine.
Never stop dreaming or believing.
Especially in this podcast.
That's what dreams are made of. Okay, anyway, sorry. So just to recap, we have just some fun little stats. I'm not going to dive into it. I feel like it was fun the first episode because we were just starting. Mm-hmm. But dude, we are already to like 240 something listens across all of our episodes. So that is thanks to you guys. Thank you for continuing to listen. And then if you're new here, welcome. And I hope you stick around. If you are new here and you've just stumbled upon this, apparently our very first episode, which was The Humans by Matt Haig, that's still number one with the most downloads. So
Heck yeah.
I think that's the one. If you just landed here and you want to hear what we're all about with a legit episode, I guess you got to go to the first one. You got to go to the first one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. And as always, please just, interact with us on social media, rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. All the things.
And we won't be offended. We got thick skin, so just tell us what you think.
Yeah. I mean, if you think we suck, it is what it is. I mean.
Yeah, for sure. And we also have a Gmail account. Nobody really ever reaches out to us, but listen, who knows? It's the.dna.podcast22@gmail. If you so feel like sending us some fan mail, who knows?
Fan mail would be fun.
Yeah,
maybe we should open up a P.O. box and get actual fan mail. Just kidding. That costs money, and we don't make money off of this. No, we don't.
We do this for pleasure.
So. Yeah, this is just a fun little passion project. No, it's actually just a fun thing that we do, and I look forward to it every time. I hope you do too.
Oh my God, yeah. This is literally like my highlight of my weeks, the weeks that we do record. Are you joking me? And like, I can't tell you, I'm not trying to be a cliche right now. However, the amount of reading and watching of things, how it has impacted my mental health, I have like something to look forward to. I have something to like, I like have to do this today. Like,
yeah.
It's cheesy and it's small, but I get to do it with my best friend. And it has really impacted my mental health in a really positive way.
Yeah, dude, that's so sweet. I feel the same way. And it's funny because we just finished recording, I guess it's either episode 9, maybe it's 10, I don't know, but the last book that we just did. And then as soon as I finished that, I literally rolled into another that I just was by one of my favorite authors when I was in high school, and he just came out recently with a book. I started reading, like, I just immediately didn't even think about it. I just like bought the book on Kindle and started reading it. So I do love how much this podcast has like made me want to continue reading for fun and not and it's never been this way, but not like, oh, I have to read this book for the podcast.
Yes.
It's like books
Yes,
that
yes,
I'm enjoying and actually getting
Excited.
a lot. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. And plus, too, I think it's a thing that we should mention. There has been stuff that we've attempted to watch, attempted to read,
Yes.
that we decided, better not.
I wanted to do crystal meth, but then I thought, better not.
Better not. One of them,
It was not crystal meth.
no, we did not do crystal meth. One of the ones that we wanted to read, so it was this book. Someone gave us a suggestion, and hey, we tried it. We gave it a shot. It was Children's Past Lives. So I have always been interested in past life kind of stuff. I've always been like, ooh, there's a lot of things going on in my present life. I wonder if I, had a past life that affected this. I've also been to a psychic before where she told me that my soul has been around for a very long time and I've led multiple lives. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet. So I personally was interested in it. I was like, cool. Like, I want to hear it.
Look at you on your woo-woo shit.
I
Love
know,
you.
my woo shit. No, I only went to a psychic once because she made me cry my eyes out, but it's fine. She was right. She was.
I went to 3, and all 3 have told me, hi, the love of your life is waiting for you, and you're just like denying him, and you're missing out on the love of your life. So just like letting you know.
Oh my God.
The one literally goes, this is the man that God intended you. God created him for you.
Okay, no fucking pressure. Jeez.
Just saying.
I mean, the only thing is, like, the psychic I went to, I was like, I really like this guy, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no.
Better not.
She was like, better not. And I was like, oh, I really like him. And she's like, oh, I can see you're really upset. And I was like, no, I'm fine. She's like, no, I know you're upset. I'm literally psychic. And I was like, okay. But then she told me my life was around the corner and not, trying to be crazy, but I literally met Alec like a month later. So she wasn't wrong.
Stop.
Yeah. Anyway, so past lives. I was always interested in that kind of stuff. And we read the book. I didn't finish it. If you did, props to you. It was a weird way that the person was talking about it. So like it was through the eyes of this woman's kids, and like they had really crazy fears of like fireworks and fire, and like I just was
loud noises.
And then they went to like a past life regression person who like hypnotized them and then brought it out, and like it was interesting, but I just couldn't believe it. Like I was like, something about the way this is written, I'm not buying any of this. I think these people were on their woo-woo shit.
Oh, yeah. I think that the context with which the story was told is why I disliked it. I like the topic.
Yes.
I like the idea. I'm a believer in the idea.
Sure, yeah.
And in the concept. I don't think the way that this was written was in an objective manner. I think it was very subjective. The entire setup was very leading for the kids, for the mom is already on her woo-woo shit. These kids are already in an environment where, I'm sorry, the hypnotist and past life regressionist was already in their house. I'm sorry.
They were like friends already. It was like
this, it was just all very
setup.
leading.
Yeah.
If this was an organic story being told of somebody like random walking into a fucking regressionist and like getting an evaluation, I'd be like on that like fucking white on rice. I'd be like, yes.
You're so right. It did feel like she was basically telling the story to prove her point that children experience past lives or they're more sensitive to it, which is something that's genuinely interesting, because there are times that kids say stuff and it's just genuinely random. I mean, for work, there's times that we've had to like film videos for schools, and like we've been in an elementary school and like a kid will run up to me and is like, hey, do you remember the sun? And I'm like, should I not? Like, what's happening to it? Like, why should I remember it? Like kids just say weird things all the time, but like it's interesting how like people have random phobias or they have things that just don't make sense, and exploring that a little bit, specifically with past life, especially in children, when I feel like children are more sensitive to that kind of stuff, is so interesting. But it just felt like this woman wanted to understand that more and just created this story so that it fit the narrative what she was trying to prove. So we
instead of just organically telling it. Yes,
exactly. So we just decided, we got to a certain point where I was like, I'm not really meshing with this. And this wasn't like we don't want to put an episode out. That's not one of our favorites. Because we've done a couple that were lower scores that we didn't really like. They were okay.
100%.
but I was like, I can't like authentically talk about this. Like I just can't.
Yeah. I was finding myself being too much of a realist while trying to read it. But this is the thing. It's not to deny the fact that there is possibility for past lives. 'Cause I'm a personal believer in it.
Yes.
It was just the literal way the book was written.
Yeah.
If you can fucking rewrite that shit, lady, give it to me in a more objective view where you allow me as a reader to be a part of your story and interpret for my own, 100%. I'm with you.
Yep. Totally agree.
No.
So yeah, there was that one. Did not pass our.
Which one, did we read a second one? What was that one after that?
Oh my
'cause
God.
remember, we had three.
We read.
Oh!
We read the memoirs to a young poet or something. Was that
Letters to a
young poet.
Oh,
I saw this on a TikTok and I was like, "Ooh, it's got to be good." And I was reading the
will never steer us wrong.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, but all the comments, people were like, "I wish I could read that book again." Oh my God, blah 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 blah. I think I got a chapter in, and it was written in like, "Doeth as I saith, young poeteth," and it was just not.
Yeah,
It was just
so
not,
it was written,
dude.
yeah.
It was not fucking good. I couldn't do it.
No, I totally agree. I couldn't read it without, and this is how it's so funny because you and I are so the same in our brains sometimes. We both couldn't read it and not read it in like a fucking British accent.
Oh my
It was
God.
like, today is the day that one shall learn to love. And you're just like reading it the way that it's written. You're just like, how can I not fucking read this in a fucking English accent?
I
Pretending I'm in
know.
the 18th century, mid-century modern life. Like, no.
Dude,
No.
it was so hard, and I really wanted to like it because the concept. I forgot it's very old. It's like a very
Yes.
old book, but it's literally letters to a guy who wants to be a poet, and he's like sending this guy poetry, and he's writing back to him. So it's like there's a lot of like good nuggets in it, I should say, of
Right,
like being
right.
a young poet, and like poets are very like in tune with their emotions and artistic. So
Right.
like I'm sure it touched on better parts like that. I just could not digest it. Like I don't know if it was the times that I tried to read it.
I think that was it for me too. It was like late at night and I was like, fuck this shit.
My brain was like, do not compute, do not understand. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So that was a no-go for us. Maybe another day when we're in another version of ourselves, it'll work out, but not this one.
Yeah, maybe in another life, in a next life, we'll be able to read that book and comprehend
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
for us. And what was the third
But
one?
then the third one is what we finally landed on, which was Man's Search for Meaning.
Was it really? Oh, well, that naturally leads us in because that episode was in July. So
Oh, there you go. See, perfection.
love it. Yeah, that was a good book. I genuinely took so many things from that I think I will carry with me for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
So much psychological, which I kind of had to like, scrub through to like get to the nuggets of what I think he was trying to say without all like the medical and like analysis terms of
Yes,
it. But
yes.
I still love that book.
No, I really liked it. And so the book basically ends by him being a teacher, right? And his students kind of guess what his life's purpose was because
Right.
that was basically the whole point of the book and everything. And the one student said, I think that your purpose in life is to help others find theirs. And so one thing, I can't believe I didn't freaking ask you, drum roll please, what do you think, as of right now, your purpose in life is?
My purpose in life.
Yeah, I went there. It's okay. Last episode that we did a recap, I was like, why do we love? So this is better. This is better.
I don't know. I feel like oftentimes I don't want to make this sound like I'm a good person because like that's not how I'm trying to portray this at all. But I think oftentimes I try to show kindness in times where maybe people aren't even deserving of it, but I do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe my purpose is to bring kindness to the world and just try to bring a little bit more understanding, because in spite of, and you and I have talked about this, I don't even know if it's been on the podcast, but I know in general we've talked about this, but like you and I are similar in a lot of ways, but we're very different. And I think
Yeah.
I'm friends with a lot of people who are very different than like what I believe or how I was brought up or whatever. And I do that on purpose because I think it's really important to try to like understand people and like give them a chance to like voice their opinion.
Yeah.
That's something that's important to me in my life because I want people to do that for me as well. Like I want to be able to voice my opinion in a way that is shown with kindness. So I try to do that to myself. So I don't know. Maybe just show more kindness, I think, is what my purpose would be. I know it's not like a very specific thing. Like some people would say their purpose is to write or to teach or to whatever. But I think as of right now, with the way that my life is going and themes that I see like reoccurring in my life, I would say that, to show kindness.
I love that for you.
What about you?
I think my purpose in life is, this is going to sound so cheesy, but I know my life as of thus far. And I think genuinely my purpose is just to help people. I am the person that fucking, I won't talk to you for 10 years and then you call me up and ask for help. Like, why? And I name a time I've said no. I'll wait.
True.
So I think that my purpose in life is to be like the helper and like to be the, I don't know what the term is, but like even like my family. Mm-hmm. My parents will call, my sisters will say no, they'll try this person, they'll say no, this, and then they always call me and I always say yes. You know, like I think my purpose in life is to be that person that is dependable and that is there.
I think you are.
Thanks. I'm really trying to be.
I have a question. Have you ever taken the Enneagram test before? Have you heard of the Enneagram test?
Is that the one where you get a letter?
Numbers.
Oh, no.
So it's basically like a wheel, and it's numbers 1 through 9, and you take a whole test or something, and it tells you like what number you are. And because it's a wheel, like you can be a 2, but have a wing 1 or 3 because they're like right next to each other. So I would be curious. I'm pretty much a 2 through and through, which is the helper, which sounds exactly like what you were saying. But I did actually find like a workshop book that was only $9 if you want to get it. Maybe that would be a fun episode. We could talk about the Enneagram.
Well, let's fucking do that.
Okay. Awesome.
Write that shit down.
Love it.
Okay, thank you.
Love it. Just building more content for you guys.
Yes, you're welcome.
So, anyway, purpose. Anything else you wanted to say about?
No, that was my main thing because it was just like we talked about that whole book and how it's all about purpose and finding your purpose and how he teaches people to find their purpose and meaning and blah, 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 blah. But I was like, we didn't talk about ours.
I know. Yeah, it's hard too.
Otherwise, yeah.
I think
it is.
I think maybe it was easier for like Viktor Frankl because he had lived such a insanely crazy life, and so he had the ability to like look back on it as he got older and figure that out. I also wonder too if that's just something you just like innately know. You know, you just have like an unspoken thing of I'm just supposed to be doing this, and whether that's like
I said, Mother Teresa, like she fucking knew.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like there's just certain people in the world. I think they just, I don't want to say are born to do certain things, but they know because. I don't know. I feel like too, like oftentimes, like we had talked about in the episode, like your purpose is often associated by things that you do. So it's like, I was born to volunteer. I was born to like create a nonprofit to help these people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's what, at least in my mind, maybe it's not for other people. That's just what it's often associated with. So I think all those like, not soft skills, but like the other aspect of like the human experience are important.
Yes.
You know?
Because I'm a firm believer in like you have different paths in life. So like whatever path you take in life, your fulfillment in that changes, which drives a separate purpose.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
All right. Next up is Dead Poets Society. One of my fucking personal faves so far. Like, oof, so good.
So good.
So good.
I had a lot of people reach out and they were like, I freaking love this movie. I was like, do you also remember the main part of it? Because I didn't.
Did you also have a mental regression on the most important plot line of the movie? Because we did.
We did. So, anyway.
The fact of how we both reached out to each other being like, oh, fuck.
I don't know. But the thing is, like, it's funny looking back on it because what did I think the movie was about? It wasn't just Robin Williams saying, oh, Captain, my captain. They're like, he's a great teacher. Like, that's not the whole fucking... I mean, it's like the main part of the movie, but like, not really. Like, there's a really big part of it that we just totally missed.
Just blew right fucking past.
Yeah,
yep.
whatever.
It's okay.
That's fine.
It's called Trauma, and that movie...
Right.
It's our brains were blocking out the trauma that it last caused.
We talk a lot about that on here. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah,
it's fine.
All right. Well, this is something that Robin Williams says, his character says, in the film, and I formulated it kind of into my own question.
Okay.
So my question is, why does human emotion play such a vital role in our outward human expression? So why, he said something kind of like that. So like, why do we need why do we feel the need to have to express ourselves? And why does our human emotion drive that?
I mean, my instant reaction to that is like everybody wants to be seen in some way. And I think that movie kind of shows that. Even with, what's his name? Todd, the really quiet kid played by Ethan Hawke. Todd. His character, his outward conflict is he really doesn't want to be noticed. He kind of wants to blend in with the crowd and just like do his thing. His inward conflict, he wants to scream to the mountains and be seen so bad and be heard.
Yes.
And so I think that the reason why, you know, just based off your question is I think everybody in some way, shape, or form wants to be heard and like therefore kind of accepted into a group or just accepted in general.
Right.
And also just like emotions are what make us human. Because if we didn't, like we talked about in the very beginning, you know, of this whole podcast with the humans, we see this character start to eventually have attachments and like build relationships and trust with the people around him. And that is what the human experience is all about, is that emotional connection, just feeling things, listening to music, experiencing poetry. All of those things are what actually make us human.
So, caveat question then.
Here we go.
Do you think then, if we're all human, that there's no variation and that everyone feels a need for self-expression? Because in the movie, there are the teachers and the people around who are basically enforcing this oppressive style of non-expression. So what's your take on the idea then? Is it just certain types of people who have this greater innateness to want to express and be like a dancer or an artist or whatever, and then there's other people who are like, I'm going to sit behind my fucking computer screen and work my 9 to 5 and be good? Like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, 50-50. I think, yes, there are some people that are like that. And two, I think that's just a thing that's been taught too. I think if you've grown up in a way that you were never really allowed to express, and also to, you know, emphasize that expressing yourself is not like always an artistic thing. Expressing yourself can be just like a very good communicator. You can be somebody who's a really good conversationalist and somebody who, I don't know, practices law and like expresses, you know, their desire for justice. You know, like there's many different ways to express yourself that aren't artistic. So I think that's important to note too. But I do agree. I think that there are some people out there who are just relatively simple, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you still have an outlet, or you still pursue things that in turn, like, you know, invoke some kind of emotion in you. Like
yes, I see what you're saying.
Hobbies, spending time with people you love, like that's their way of like having that emotional experience that's compelling to them. It might not be as outward as like an interpretive dancer that's like, this is my feeling in dance. They just have that inside.
Yes. Okay. I feel that. All right.
How do you feel?
I like the answer. Well, I didn't feel that way until you just explained it that way. And so I was like,
well, what were you thinking originally?
Well, I think that there's like people who are just more emotive. Obviously, those are going to be the people that are more outwardly expressive. And so then like every person's basically different then. And like, but then you just kind of supported, I agree with you. It's fine.
Well, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm glad I could swing you over here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, that's just a good movie. It's once again one of those things that it makes such a big impact on you. I don't think you realize it until you have these kind of conversations about it, and you realize how much, not just poetry, but just the arts in general impact your life, even if you're not somebody who considers himself creative. You know, I think I see this so often where people are like, oh, like creative has always got their head in the clouds or whatever. It's like creative is the person who designed your car. Creative is the person who
oh my God, who designed your house.
Exactly. Like all the things that make you a functioning human being are done by people who are creative and have a vision. So it's ingrained in everything we do.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I can't take full credit for that. I've heard that conversation on the internet frequently. And it's so true, because oftentimes too, like I think when you look at somebody, like if they're a writer or if they're a designer, 60% of their work is them doing, it looks like they're doing nothing.
Yes.
But they're really not. They're thinking, or they're like going on a walk to like enable creativity. And then, you know, the 40% is them actually doing the task.
Right.
But people are like, oh, they're so lazy. It's like, nah, there's a whole method to the madness. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Huh. Look at you opening my eyes. 10 out of 10.
World.
This is why you're the yin to my yang. You're the yi to my ha.
That's the little Pennsylvania yin and yang right there.
I Oh god,
It's terrible. All right, so that was the only ones that we did for July. We have a bunch of stuff coming up that we filmed. Some more books, some more movies, and
Yeah, we do.
something exciting up our sleeve.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. But yeah, so to wrap things up on this fun little bonus episode, we asked a little bit of this or that on our Instagram. So
Yeah, we did.
We wanted to just kind of engage, and you guys did not disappoint. Tons of you guys freaking
No,
voted
truly.
on this. Like, I'm looking now. Literally over 30 people interacted with
Yeah.
us on all of these things, except for the last one. But like, it's fine, whatever.
Y'all be lazy. If it's more than pushing a button, you're like, no thanks. Sorry, it's okay. We still love
It's
you
fine.
and appreciate
You're
you.
fine. You're good. So, first one we had was books or movies. What do you think?
I'm gonna say, I'm just guessing. You have the answer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have not seen the results. I'm gonna guess movies just because it's more immediate gratification, and I think that ties in more with our society today. Like, no one wants to sit and chill and read a book.
Yeah.
And I think people have more time to just be like, oh, let's just go to watch a movie.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're right. Movies was 79%, books was 21.
Really?
I was surprised because I feel like a lot of people respond to us personally when we've done a book.
Yeah.
Because they really
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
read. So, interesting. All right.
Yeah. Huh.
So, next one, listening to podcasts or watching podcasts. What do you think?
I am conflicted because I'm a podcast watcher.
Mm.
Me and the Joe Rogan podcast, I watch him every single day on my hour-and-a-half commute each way. So I'm gonna go for the watch. I don't know. I feel weird.
So, top one was listening, but it's close. 56,
really?
Listening was 56, watching was 44%.
Wow.
So
that's
that-
much closer than I thought.
That surprised me a lot. I didn't realize that a lot of you guys like to watch podcasts because I personally don't. I think there's too many
Yeah.
things for me to watch and listen and then do something. I would have to be actively looking at it. So I like to put it on in the background and listen to it while I
Yes.
walk or clean the house or something.
Sure.
So interesting. Maybe we'll do some video stuff. You can see our faces.
Yeah. Should we record a live? Does that mean we'll get 44% more engagement? I mean, I'll do it.
I don't know anything about that, but I'll try.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right, so this is more like genres. So we have drama versus romance.
Easy peasy romance. Who watches dramas? Shut the front door!
Girl, 50, it's same thing, like very close. So drama was 56%, romance was 44%. I picked drama. I do not like romance movies, I'll tell you that right now. It's not that I don't love, I just don't want to watch it.
I love you. I'm the opposite. I'm like, who wants to fucking watch a drama? Like, when
Yeah,
I
but,
think
like-
drama, I think like Lifetime movies.
No, drama is literally Dead Poet Society. That's a drama.
Oh, I'm not the film major here, clearly.
That's
so
all right.
it's
You only
fine.
lived with one for 4 years. Anywho.
Yeah.
Continuing on the genre category, horror or comedy?
You got me all twisted in my brain right now. I'm going to go for the one I'm least expecting now. Horror.
No,
What?
it's a comedy.
Did you just judge me for the way I said horror?
No, because you were
Oh.
you were wrong, so I thought it was funny. No, so
Yeah, I have certain times where Pennsylvania Dutch comes out of me. I'm like, horror
oh goodness,
instead of horror. Sorry.
horror. No,
Horror.
No, horror had 39%. Comedy was 61%. I figured comedy was probably gonna.
I figured comedy, but you've been blowing my brains out with how wrong I've been this whole time.
Well,
so.
okay, this one I think you'll get. Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Spotify.
Girl, there you go. I knew you had it.
Okay,
74.
I thought you were about to tell me I was wrong.
No, can you imagine? No, 74% for Spotify, 26% for Apple Podcasts.
I feel like you only listen to Apple Podcasts if you're too lazy to download Spotify. Alrighty, so at the end of our little this or that game, we had a little poll for you guys, and we just said, ask us anything. And we did get some questions. So, question number 1. How do you pick your items to review?
Well, it's kind of a mix. Sometimes we ask you guys and you tell us. Sometimes it's just ones that we have thought of
Yeah.
and we find and we run with it. And then sometimes we, like we discussed earlier, we try it and it's not great. And that's okay because we went for it and we tried. But that's kind of it.
did our best.
There's no rhyme or
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I don't think we have like a set agenda. Like we're not following like, I don't know, a format or like a scheme to like go off of. I think it's just whatever resonates or whatever throws itself at us at the time. Yeah. All right, question number 2. What is a good starting book to get into reading?
Oof. That's a hard question, but go ahead.
I'm going to say let's tailor it to the books that we've reviewed.
Okay.
That way it's easier to respond. So that way they can like listen in, listen to the podcast, get the vibe. So based off the books that we read, which one would be a good start to get into reading?
So, what I was going to say is it definitely depends on the person, because for me, like, I used to love reading when I was a kid, and then I got into like my teenage, young adult years, and I found it really hard to find books that I liked, because I just didn't, I just couldn't find stuff that was interesting to me. So like first you need to find out what's interesting to you, and then find books that like relate to that. If you like fantasy, check that out. If you like things that have, I don't know, like books that have a really deep meaning or speak to something higher than like the actual story, there's a whole other, it's literally why we have this podcast, to be completely honest. Any of those would work. Personally, a book that I loved, that I would recommend, it's got to be any of the Matt Haig books that we've done.
You read my mind. I was going to say Midnight Library.
Yeah, I was too. I was going to say that, but also like The Humans was really good because it was such a cool concept.
Yes. I think both of them are 2 books. You know what? I'm going to switch to The Humans because it's a lighter, more heartfelt, like fun read.
Yeah.
That anybody can resonate with. Whereas like The Midnight Library gets a little heavy, and like if you're like just getting into reading and you're like not trying to go on a roller coaster ride, it's not for you.
Yeah. And also I think The Midnight Library is a little bit shorter because I just remember, I also really liked it. So I just remember reading it really quickly. But either way, I think it was a quick enough read. So I would say either The Humans or The Midnight Library by Matt Haig.
Right.
Which I know whenever we discuss stuff, we literally discuss the book in length. So unfortunately, you might know how it ends. So like, sorry. But we want to talk about it because we liked it. So I would say one of those, but also too, just like find things that interest you. Because sometimes too, like I'll read nonfiction stuff if it's about a topic or something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So it really just depends. So
honestly too, the built-in like AI in Kindle that gets to know what you might like is pretty accurate. So if you find even one thing that you liked when you were like a teenager or something, type that in and then it'll say like recommended. And genuinely, like I just listened to a Colleen Hoover book that I'm not on the Colleen Hoover train, but I just listened to my first one and I was like, oh my God, this was right up my alley. Like it was so good. So yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Last question is, what do you guys have coming up for the rest of the season?
Yeah, believe it or not, I think we're almost done. Yeah, we're almost done recording for this season, which is crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. But we've just created so much content and we kind of want to like take a break and like plan things out because in my opinion, it's been very successful. Whatever your definition of that is depends on the person. But yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of fun stuff. So it's going to be alternating still with like books and movies. Some of them you probably know because we've asked you about them. Some of them you probably don't know. I'm just going to hint that I am looking forward to collaborating with some other people.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So whatever that means in your book, just get ready because we have some fun stuff planned.
I'm super excited, and I think that this podcast has been a blast, genuinely a blast, and I'm so excited for this like fall season to head our way because I know we've already gotten some horror film recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, listen, I don't care if it's Freddy Krueger. There might be an underlying message that we could talk about and rip apart and get down to the DNA. So let's do it.
Why does the human race feel like we need to stab each other all the time?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes, precisely.
No. Overall, lots of fun stuff planned. So please make sure you subscribe to us and get a nice little notification anytime we post. We post bi-weekly every Wednesday. I think I usually do like 8 a.m. so that way you can listen to it in the middle of the week, the beginning of the day, whenever the heck you're able to. But yeah, I think in general, I'm just super excited too for our podcast. It's been really fun to be creative this way. And I get to literally talk to my best friend. So it's been a ride for me.
Heck yeah. And I think that season 1, if this is any tribute to where this podcast can go, I'm excited.
Hell yeah, dude.
There's only where we're going is up. So.
Well, anyways, thank you everybody for listening to our fun little bonus episode. And to close us out, we've been collecting some fun bloopers along the way. So
heck yeah.
Thank you for listening and enjoy the bloopers.
Apologizing in advance. Shameless plug. If you don't follow us on Instagram, we are the.dna. All right, hold on. I'm gonna let Wolfie pee. Do you mind?
No, that's all good.
All right. Let's go.
Okay, now that that bitch is gone. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, sorry, but screw you on okay, excuse stroke. But why do we feel things that are right and wrong? Why stroke? Preservation. And that our fundamental art stroke.
You know, just gotta be open-minded. If you're not
Yeah.
open-minded, then definitely not for you. You
Yeah.
know?
And Did you just hear Alexa? My Alexa went off.
Oh no, I didn't hear.
Here's your reminder. Take out the trash because today's my trash day.
Oh, she's
Anyway.
like, listen, you lazy bitch.
I had this one roommate. Oh gosh. I had this one roommate who she would like use my shit and then like
Hello?
she would, sorry,
Oh.
I heard banging.
So fun fact, I might cut this out because I realized I interpreted this quote wrong.
I don't think that. Excuse me. I was just clicking my pen that whole time. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Heard that. Set in 1959 at the conservative Vermont boarding school, Welton Academy, it takes. Oh, okay, wonderful. Set in the 1959. What?
Are we okay?
I already told you I had such a weird day today. I think this is just. Okay.
The icing on the cake. All right.
Okay. Okay, third time's a charm. He just constantly redefines what it means to teach and to learn and to live. And sorry, I really tried to ignore it.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I think an impact. I think it's because an impact, whether it be positive or negative, is still an impact, which is still a meaning. You know?
Yeah, no, sorry, I was nodding. I forgot we were on a podcast and people can't see me. Maybe he said, hey, these people are pretty fun. You should listen to them. You know, feedback's always great. It's always appreciated. Anna?
My cat was eating my hand that whole time. That's why I was like,
I thought you were really, I saw your face. I'm like, oh, she's like really feeling what I'm saying. I'll just keep going. And meanwhile, you were just dying inside.
well, I was feeling it, but my cat was eating my arm.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope today's episode makes you feel a little bit more connected to your true self.
Don't forget to follow the DNA podcast on Instagram so you never miss another episode.
Until next time.